Hello, friends. Hello. It is another Saturday. We made it through another week, which is very exciting. But even more exciting, today we have Dr. B on for another episode of 20 Questions. And in honor of Dr. B, if you know Dr. B, you know he is in Seattle. So I wore my finest flannel. And he usually doesn't wear flannel, so I don't think we're going to match, but we shall see. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on so he can say hello and introduce himself. There he is. Hello, Dr. B.
Hi, everybody.
Nice to see you. You are not wearing flannel. I was correct.
No, I do, though. I do wear flannel. I'm just, in my work clothes right now.
Yes, working on a Saturday. These are my work clothes. It counts. It counts.
These are my public facing work clothes.
Yes,
I mean,
you
the truth is, I sleep in a suit and it's
with shoes? Are shoes
what's that?
included in? Do you have shoes in your sleeping suit?
Well, when I sleep, I wear loafers.
Oh, of course. Obvious choice. Hello, Mr.
I
Gao.
mean,
Hello.
let's not be uncivilized.
No, of course not. Of course not. Hello, Engaged Family Gaming. Welcome. So, these episodes of 20 Questions, as you know, Dr. B, but just to remind the people here, is like a career day for the gaming industry. And today, you are here to talk about games and mental health. But before we jump into the questions, please, dear sir, introduce yourself.
Well, all right then. I'm Raphael Bocamatzo, better known as the Dr. B. I got that nickname at the prison I used to work with when the guys there took one look at my last name and just went, no, you're Dr. B. And I am a doctor of clinical psychology. I was clinically trained, but I do not practice at this point. I do all education and outreach efforts with Take This, the very first mental health nonprofit to serve the game community. And you can see our psychomancer back there. But yeah, I have been with Take This at this point longer than any other staff member, almost 5 years. I think our Rachel and my mutual boss kindly described me as the institutional memory.
That's nice.
But yeah, but I also train clinicians and teachers on the use of role-playing games and other games in clinical and learning settings. And I stream with Rachel and a couple of other mental health types on Clinical Role every other Monday at Geeks Like Us.
That's right. That's what this. I don't know my left from right. This poster. Here we go. You're in there. You're the monk. That's him right there. And there. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have you here. We're gonna dive right in because I know that some of these questions you have a lot to say, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your answers. Even though I've known you only for 2 years, Facebook reminded me it was Dr. B and Rachel Day the other day. I find it hard to believe I've only known you for 2 years, but
I know, right?
weird. There's still lots for me to learn. So let's dive right in. Question number 1. What inspired you to pursue games as your career?
I didn't.
You didn't? But
No,
here you
I
are.
didn't. No, I mentioned I trained in a prison, and I did that as my first clinical rotation, known as practicum for those of you not doing doctorate programs. And I liked it so much that I went back as my final internship. And so I spent a good chunk of my training time there at the same unit of prisons. It was like 5 at one, and I really liked working there. I loved working with the guys there, and I didn't intend on going into games, but I've always been a gamer. I love games. I love gaming of all varieties. And in 2014, there was this thing called the AFK room that was coming to PAX West, now, well, formerly PAX Prime. And a friend of mine who I trained with was the local coordinator for that. And she called me up and she said, "Hey, do you want to volunteer at a mental health room at PAX?" And before she could even finish any other statements, I was like, "Yeah, no, absolutely. Sign me up. How many days do you need me?" And I did a shift every day.
Wow.
And the next year in 2015, I did the same thing. I did a shift every day because I loved working with, my people. And I got to go hang out with friends who were going to PAX. And at the end of 2015, the powers that be at Take This told me that Dr. Mark Klein, our founding clinical director, was stepping back to do some other stuff. And they needed a new clinical director. And since I spoke nerd and I spoke clinician and I was, there a lot, they asked me if I wanted to interview for it. And amazingly, I got the gig. And suddenly I'm working in games, and I'm working with game companies, and I'm working with game industry insiders. And I never anticipated this would be my career. And now, but here I am because I was volunteering and I was enthusiastic and I was diligent, and they liked me.
Of course they liked you. So it was really like right place, right time?
Kind of, yeah.
Plus enthusiasm?
Yeah. It's, I can't emphasize enough the power of volunteering for organizations and being an enthusiastic volunteer, because most organizations that I have volunteered from, they like recruiting from their volunteers when they can.
Right. That makes sense. And the former content manager, Lee Hughes, she also was a former volunteer for Take This. So there you go.
Yep.
Two examples.
Actually, most, let me think about this. With one exception, everyone who currently works for Take This has done volunteer work for us on some level, whether it's panels, whether it's AFK room, whether it's writing. We tend to hire from people who volunteer for us.
Excellent. It shows enthusiasm and passion. I know when I joined Take This, I was like already a huge fan. It didn't just come out of nowhere. So very cool. And look at you now. Very cool.
Me, look at me.
Look at you. You're working in games, and you thought you were going to be in prisons. This is more fun, I would say, than that, probably. So what would you say then is the biggest misconception about your job and your role at Take This as a clinical director?
Oh, how many meetings I do?
He does a lot of meetings. I can speak to that.
I do a lot of meetings, and it is it is so many meetings. So
it's not just playing.
So yeah, I do a lot of meetings. That is my biggest. The misconception about what I do. And also, I don't actually see clients anymore. I am no longer a practicing clinician. Like I'm not licensed to practice anymore because I didn't want to pay all the fees and everything on not doing any clinical work when I do all education and outreach and policy stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Bunny. See you. So you kind of answered number 3 also. What do you spend your most time on during the day? Meetings?
A lot of meetings, a lot of writing, a lot of reviewing. Yeah. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on with what we do at Take This. Everybody seems to encounter us at conventions and, thinks that's all we do. But the truth is that, especially when it comes to the AFK room, which we're actually now running an AFK online for PAX Online, and we're raising money right now for it. It takes so much behind the scenes work to do an AFK room in person, and it's taking more behind the scenes work to do the online version. We spend probably 4 to 6 months on each AFK room, making it, preparing so it looks like nothing's going on in the room. If everything goes according to plan, it should look like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
And that takes so much work.
Yeah, it really does.
It's kind of like a movie set.
Right. It looks natural and it looks easy, but there's been like 6-8 months of meetings to make that happen.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So what is one piece of advice then you would give to someone who is interested in pursuing a job in video games?
In video games and psychology,
Yeah, we can
focus
specify.
on the psychology.
Mm.
Focus on the psychology of, it basically, um, focus on the psychology and get just the foundational stuff, because it doesn't matter what route you take in mental health. There's a certain foundational understanding and knowledge that you need to have before you get
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, I'm a big believer in having a wide breadth
Mm-hmm.
of of a knowledge base,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of flexibility you can have with that sort of knowledge base. I didn't think I was going to end up working in games. I, back when I was training, I ended up doing a lot of work with things like schizophrenia and borderline personality disorder and complex PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was going to end up teaching people how to use Dungeons and Dragons to work on anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. But the previous experiences, I would say, definitely helped you. It
Mm-hmm.
helped inform, yeah, yeah, having that wide knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that wide knowledge base, you acquire that knowledge base in graduate school. And question, the question I have next, because for people who want to get a career in game studies, that isn't necessarily an engineering one, which doesn't always require an advanced degree. Psychology is one of those things that always requires advanced degrees if you really want to do anything with it. So, what three adjectives would you say describe your graduate school experience?
I mean, dissociated.
Oh,
That's
explain
that's the
that
first
word,
one.
please, to the crowd. Share with the class. What does that mean?
There's whole chunks of time I actually don't remember in grad school, because my kinder professors acknowledged the idea that we're giving you an unreasonable workload.
Mm,
We can't, if we gave you a reasonable workload, it would take you 12 years to get your degree.
mm,
And so there, especially around my third year, where I was doing a 20-hour a week internship and full-time classwork, on top of starting my clinical exams and my comprehensive exams, both
mm,
of which take about 3 months apiece.
mm.
There's some real wacky stories about people telling me I was at things that I don't remember being at.
Yeah.
There was one of the better ones was I went to a certain Starbucks by my apartment every day to study, and I showed up there, and I'm saying hi to the people who work there, because we'd gotten to know each other a little bit at this point. I was like, hi, Susie, how's it going? Oh, Raphael, it's going great. How you doing? Oh, it's gonna be a tough week. And she realized I'm talking about the week as if it's starting, and so
Oh no.
she asked, what day do you think it is? And I was like,
Oh
it's
god.
Monday. And she looked at me oddly and she said, dude, it's Thursday. No. It took a couple of minutes, her cell phone and a newspaper, for her to prove to me that I was 3 days off.
Thanks.
At that point, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go. Class is in an hour and a half. I
Right.
totally didn't remember what it was. So yeah, my first word I would use to describe grad school is dissociated. My the second word I would use is humbling,
Mm,
because it is, every psych major I have ever met goes into grad school with this attitude of like, yeah, I know so much.
mm-hmm.
And then in that first semester of grad school, they smack you down with so much knowledge that you didn't realize you didn't know.
Yeah.
And by the end of the first year, I'm like, oh my God, I spent 4 years getting an undergrad degree focusing on this, and I know Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
But finally, I think the third word, and this is directly related to the first two, is I don't want to say empowering, because I really didn't feel, I felt kind of defeated by the end,
Mm.
but at the same time also, um it builds resilience.
Mm.
There's a lot I know I can cope with now,
Yeah.
because I got through that ungodly amount of work. There's a
Yeah.
lot I know I can do. And I see the chat,
Yeah, me too.
Emzai. Oh my God, that sounds so exciting. And I realize I'm describing grad school in not particularly encouraging terms, but that's because mental health is one of those things you gotta want to do, and you gotta want to
Mm-hmm.
do it badly,
Mm-hmm.
because my friends who got medical degrees, yeah, they have an ungodly amount of work. They
Mm-hmm.
also get paid fairly well.
Yeah, psychology.
Um,
Little light on the payment side.
right. And so mental health is one of those things that sounds really cool to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem with that is it sounds really cool to a lot of people, and there are a lot of
Yeah.
people doing the work, and they eh, eh, the parity in this country for how many people get really paid to do it is not that great. So
Yeah.
you're spending a lot of time in a certain respect. It's kind of like being a teacher. The amount of time you're investing in training to do it doesn't match up with what your
Yeah.
income will be.
So
And
true.
so to get through this, you got to want it. You got to want it so bad. It's got to be your passion. It's got to be your mission. And it's all I've ever wanted to do is
Yeah.
help people maybe be better the next day. That's all I've ever wanted to do with my life. And so that's why I kept doing it day after day after day after day, forgetting my shoes in some cases, or forgetting having weird dreams during vacations where I thought I was late for class, getting up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the middle of a Sunday morning, getting dressed for class, only realize it's summer break and I'm on a Sunday morning. You got to want it to get through it.
Yeah, you do. Thank you for the follow made through time. And that's true, I think, of any graduate program, but I think, like you're saying, with psychology specifically, you have to really have that passion.
Yeah, because general, with a few exceptions,
Yeah,
if you think you're going to make a lot of money going into this, you're not. The rewards are
you're
not
not.
tangible generally,
No,
but the
and you
rewards are there if this is what you want.
they are. The rewards are internal. Oh, crafting muse. Hi, doll. Thanks for following. Welcome. So, if I asked your parents to describe what it is that you do, what would they say?
They would have no clue what I do.
No?
Every time somebody asks me, what is it you do for a living? My response is, that takes some explaining.
Really? That's so funny. So, you think
Uh,
that's what your parents would say?
they
Oh,
know it has something to do with games. They
okay.
know I'm excited about it, but beyond
Okay.
that, they have no clue.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's relatable. I don't think my parents could say what I do either. Ah, thank you for the follow, blushing. It's funny when you work in games because I think that our parents' generation still don't see games like as a job, right? So they're just like, something in games. Like they're not, unless you're making them, I don't think they really understand content creation
Yeah,
or, yeah.
you're right. There's a lot of ancillary roles that are
Yeah.
not about making games directly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I exist in one of those ancillary roles. Um, the Engaged
Yeah.
Family Gaming
See?
is clinical director for a nonprofit. Not a good enough explanation. You'd think that you
But
that's the one they probably understand the best.
yeah.
Um, but generally, actually, what's really funny is, and this is not necessarily my parents, but this is other people. When I tell people I'm the clinical director of a game-based mental health nonprofit, their first question is 7 out of 10 times, "Oh, you mean like gaming addiction?" And I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
"We need to have a chat."
Yeah. It's funny. I just
Because
met a new neighbor the other day, and I said, it's exactly what I said. And she goes, oh, like addiction. And I was like,
uh,
yeah.
so
You know your
yeah, I
stuff.
mean, there's so much to it, and there's so much subtlety, and because there aren't
Yeah.
many people doing what I do, there's less established protocol, there's less established path for what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And Rachel, like you're finding this out, and we talk about this fairly frequently, we're essentially forging our own career paths because nobody else is really doing stuff like this. You know, there's a
Right.
couple people.
Yeah.
And so people don't have as much of a hook to hang things on when I tell them what I do.
Yeah.
Addiction's the one thing they know because it's been blown up in the
Yeah.
media, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Blushing. Ah, you lucky duck. Yeah, my parents are not in that pool. But I'm glad to know that those parents do exist. So thank you for sharing that. So what would you recommend to people if they want to read more about games and gaming? Like, what's the one book, like the go-to book you recommend to people to learn more about games
I have a
and
list of 3. Actually, I have
Okay.
a list of 4 that
I
are
will
my
allow
absolute
it.
must-reads.
Okay. Let's hear it.
And you know all of them.
I do. I know one of
You
them on
know
the
all of them
list.
because you
Oh.
wrote 2 of them.
Did I? Okay. I
So
didn't realize you were here to make me cry. Go on.
so 2 of them that you wrote
Yes.
are the video game debate
Ah, yes.
and the parents' guide to video games. I think those are. I mean, if you want the Cliff Notes version, the parents' guide to video games is great. But the video game debate that you wrote and that you published in 2015 was stellar, and it's just a go-to. It's the first thing I suggest to people if they want a more clinical perspective or research-based perspective. The other one, and our friend Jamie Madigan, Getting Gamers.
So good.
Jamie has this amazing ability to write research-based content that's exciting to read and is even funny at
It
parts.
is.
The line that really got me in that book was his chapter on cheaters and why people cheat at games. And the line was, I hope I get this right, cheaters breed. Not really, though. I'm sure some of them hook up.
Yeah.
And
oh, Jamie.
yeah, right? I mean, you know Jamie, so it's
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
about right.
Great.
So Getting Gamers is another one, and Tony Bean's Clinician's Guide to Gamers. I always butcher the title, but if you look up Dr. Anthony Bean and Clinician's Guide to Working with Games and Gamers, you'll find it. And that's a good I think that's an essential primer for working if you are a working professional and you want to start working with gamers.
Right.
Because we have many cultures within subcultures within the realm of games, and if you're a clinician or a teacher or whomever and you're working with people, you're working with gamers whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Gamesplicit so these are the most comprehensive books on the topic. I would say probably yeah, because the truth is there aren't that many books out there.
That's true. There's not. That it's not. Are the books available somewhere to be put somewhere for us to find again? Yes. I will.
I think all of these authors would love it if we put links up.
We will put links up. Yeah, we will put links up. I can. Let me grab. I'll grab them. Keep talking, Dr. B. I'll grab these links real quick because if I don't do it now, I'll forget. Video game debate. Fun thing about the video game debate. So the video game debate is research based. It's a series of essays about video game effects. But the video game debate 2 is coming out in November, which is all the chapters and all the topics we didn't talk about in the first one. So like VR and casual games and serious games and all of that stuff. So that's pretty exciting. You can hear me typing now. Should I make a blog post? Oh, you can. Okay. Good. Yes, you should make a blog post, Engage Family Gaming. But now I'm like on a mission, so just one second. Madigan, Getting Gamers.
Should I just entertain the audience? Just
I will ask you the next question while I do this, so you can. Is success in your field more about who you know or what you know?
Yes.
Both. Equally?
Yeah.
In equal measure?
Well, it's okay. So one of the things that I used to do more frequently is I used to be involved with the Seattle indie film community. in a somewhat cursory way. I love acting. It's a fantastic hobby of mine. I take it fairly seriously when I do it, but it's not something I ever wanted to make a career out of because my dad said something once that came to bite him because he actually wanted me to be an actor, but he told me once that if you're not willing to give up food for your art, you shouldn't be doing it for a living.
Oh,
And I
interesting.
was way more passionate about mental health than I was
Mm-hmm.
acting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can still act on the side when I mean, even doing stuff like this, it brings, any acting experience out because I just love it. I love entertaining people. But the one of the things that I realized in doing the limited work I did with the Seattle film community is taking things seriously, even if you're not the best. Like, I'm not a researcher. I don't have the direct research experience that you do or that many of our colleagues and friends do, but I'm enthusiastic about things.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think I'm fairly diligent about things. Of course, we'd all like to think that.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Um,
You are.
I'd like to think I'm fairly diligent about things. And I try to be open to new experiences. And I try and be good to work with. And I try to meet people and build relationships with them. And so, working in the acting community in Seattle, I got bit parts in a lot of things I never auditioned for because people liked working with me.
Right. Right.
And so what who is also combined with how you work.
Yeah. Yeah. How you work with others.
Right.
Yeah.
Being
For sure.
being mediocre at something and being fun to work with
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Yeah. I saw a great quote. It was you give a mediocre team a mediocre idea. This actually doesn't go along with what you said, but it triggered it in my mind. And you'll have a mediocre outcome. But if you give a mediocre idea to a great team, they'll fix it and make it better. So it's about how you work together, right?
Well, and it's yeah, the dynamic of interpersonal relationships is important. And I would, if I'm building a team, I would rather have a bunch of average to above average people in terms of capability who work together well
Yeah.
than one diva who's the best that
Yeah.
in their field.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, engage family gaming enthusiasm and being friendly. And it kind of goes back to the very first question. I mean, the reason that Dr. B is even at Take This is partially because of his enthusiasm. Um, starting, oh, thanks, Michaela DD. I see you. It was my birthday yesterday. I think my side note, my neighbor got me one of those like marble things you roll on your face so you look awake, and I think that's what's happening. That's why I look. You know those little marble. Okay, that's a side note. Moving on. What do you like most, and what do you like the least about what you do?
Um. Oh boy. Okay. So this is more of a personal style thing because I'm a
Ooh.
ham. I can't deny that fact. I love being in front of an audience. There's a reason I almost became an actor. I love speaking to people. I love talking to people. I love being on a stage. I love being on a screen. I love all that stuff. Getting the ability to talk to people in an effective way that see, and I've got friends in the chat are like, you a ham? Never.
Yeah.
Thanks, V. But the but I love getting to talk to people. And the best part about so I'm very open about my autism. And it's kind of funny that despite the fact that in a lot of respects I don't get people on an interpersonal level, there's a lot of cues I miss. I'm still fascinated by people. I
Mm,
love people. I love learning about them. I love talking to them. I love entertaining them. So people are a bit of are kind of one of my special interests. So I
mm-hmm.
love going to the conventions. I love talking to everybody, and that is like the best part about what I do.
Yeah. And the
Um,
and the least best part?
Paperwork.
They're gonna say meetings, but paperwork's pretty bad.
No, I actually
Um,
like meetings.
yeah, yeah.
I
You get
like
to
them
interact
because
with
it's
people.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the stuff I like the least about my job is largely due to personal, basically personal strengths and personal weaknesses.
Mm,
Again, mentioning my autism, um I, detail oriented step by step processes are a real
mm-hmm.
challenge for me.
Mm,
In any job, it doesn't matter what
yeah.
job it would be.
Yeah.
It's any job.
That makes sense.
My working memory and my processing speed are not great.
Right.
And so those are a struggle to me, but I'm really thankful that we have such a wonderful team at Take This. And our operations director is a freaking saint who goes out of her way. I mean, shout out to Katrina on this.
Yeah.
Katrina Keller is one of the most amazing people to work with. She goes out of her way to learn everybody else's working style so she can facilitate the operations as
Mm-hmm.
effectively as possible. And she knows I need basically I need accommodation in terms
Mm-hmm.
of step-by-step organizational processes,
Right.
and she helps with that. And so does our boss Eve Crevichet. It's a I Take This is probably the most amazing team I've ever worked for.
They're a good group. They're a good group. Katrina is wonderful.
So
Paperwork
amazing.
is part of the bureaucracy. Yeah, that's true. We have a
Yeah,
we have a
yeah.
yeah. We have a question from the audience about we're going to take a side break. What do you think about Reality is Broken? Have
I
you read
think I
it?
haven't read it.
Oh, you haven't read it. Well,
No, I haven't. Okay. Here's the thing.
it's classic.
I like since grad school. I like learning. I hate reading.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a
I'm
long
so
time
burnt
to
out
read
on
for
reading.
pleasure. Yeah, you read so much. Her TED Talk's really good. Have you seen her TED Talk on Reality is Broken?
I think I did see it once, and it
Okay.
was really
Cliff Notes.
intriguing, and it makes
Yeah.
me kind of want to read the book.
Oh my god, I thought she was asking what about Reality is Broken. Can he answer that one? Everything. It's
Oh,
2020.
hold
We're
on.
in a weird timeline. Um,
Let me get the scotch out, and let's talk about how reality is broken.
All right.
Broken.
Last serious question, and then we'll go on to the funsies. Do you enjoy playing games more or less now that you work in the industry in the field?
I would say I enjoy playing them differently.
Mm.
Um, I haven't. The truth is that I haven't really played a lot of video games since grad school began because I haven't had time. Um, and especially the games I like
Yeah.
are I love role playing games. I love single player
Mm.
role playing games. Skyrim is maybe my favorite game of all time. I have lost count of how many times I've played it. And so, I mean, so the games I really like tend to be ones that I have to devote a lot of time to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really hard. And that's been really hard since grad
Yeah.
school. So when I get but the cool thing is it's also forced me, because I have less time, to discover other games that I maybe wouldn't have played. There's a lot of really great indie games out there that are fun and engaging, and they are, short.
Yeah.
They're a
Yeah.
lot easier to play.
They are. I mean, I am also an RPG fan, and that's why Final Fantasy 15 is still in the cellophane. I wish I had the time for that. I wish. CNEG Games. What is your opinion of the Quandric Foundry's gamer motivational model? I have opinions, but I think the question's for you. So take it away, Dr. B.
Hold on.
Okay,
I'm
if you're
looking
unfamiliar, no, if you're unfamiliar, it's so Nikki and some colleagues went off and made Quandric Foundry. So like Nikki's basic motivation model, he was able to refine the survey and give it to I don't know, so many, half a million, 100,000, so many people.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I need
it's
to
pretty
learn more
incredible.
about this. This is incredible.
It's incredible. And then he did, it's for both of us. Well, good, because I'm just rambling. And then he can use his motivation model because he asks people to recommend games. And then based on your motivation model, he can predict, make game suggestions. They do all kinds of such cool stuff with that data.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Yeah. It goes to show the power of data. I love the stuff that they do.
Well, and
hi, Eric.
part of me wants to needs to jump in and say that because games weren't my focus in grad school, there's a lot of this stuff I'm learning as I go.
That makes sense.
Because I'm not a researcher, I've done a little bit of mostly assistance on research, but I'm not a researcher, so I don't have the same specialized area of study that Rachel does. I was trained as a clinician, so I trained to work with people in a much more broad way. And especially my training was largely focused on a forensic population. So a lot of this stuff is stuff I'm now learning, and this is really freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh, Quandric Foundry. For everyone in the audience who's like, I've never heard of this. Yeah, prepare to get lost in that for a while. It's really, really cool.
God,
there's a really good
more links to some of the research.
I can.
This is incredible.
There's a GDC talk from a couple years ago. I'll find it. I'll post it on Twitter.
Of course there is.
That Nick gave about the stuff that they can do, and it's great.
Of course there is.
So this brings us to my favorite part of the show. But before I get to draw 10 questions from here, which is really my favorite part, we're going to do one question that is from popular demand via the audience. How many hats do you own, Dr. B?
Oh, God.
That's not
How many hats do I own? Oh, God. I don't know. Oh, the crafting muse. I think I own more than 25 just flat caps.
Really? Well, let's give it a ballpark.
Okay, you know what? If I limit it to just the brimmed hats, let's see. Okay, in the hall, I've got 10 hanging in the hall. I've got 5 within arm's reach. I've got 3 or 4 more in a hat box, because those are summer hats and it's getting towards the end and I can't really wear those. So I'm guessing about 20 brimmed hats.
How many?
Oh, and I've got a fez within reach as well, because, fezzes are cool.
Fez is for Lord Topperbottom. That's very important. Shout out to the Clinical Role, a little reference there. How many trucker hats do you own?
How many? Which one?
Trucker hats.
None. I do not wear trucker hats.
To that one you can answer.
I do not wear
That's
trucker
0.
hats. I have 2 fezzes. Yes.
Well, are you gonna put on that? You said you have 5 in arm's reach. I'm waiting for a little. Just
okay.
Show us a spectacular hat, and then we will.
Well, I mean, they're all spectacular. I wouldn't own them otherwise.
The most spectacular. Which one's the most?
Ooh. Okay. You know what? Let's go with the most unique one.
Oh,
the most unique one, which I just got yesterday, is all of my hats are from Gurin Brothers, and this is the Colonel Pierce in blue. It is a pencil brimmed hat. With a teardrop crown, and the pencil brim is just very unique. I like this very, very much. I'm gonna have to stretch it just a little bit, but I like this one very much.
Tell us about the feather in that one.
Well, there are feathers in a lot of them. Geekoscopy baseball caps are my jam. I just don't wear mesh back ones.
Have you played a hat in time?
This one is also a unique one, and it was an anniversary gift from my girlfriend Jessica McCabe at How to ADHD. It is black and blue.
Taste. Oh, look at that!
Yeah, this is a
beautiful.
Great fall and winter hat I've had my eye on for a bit.
That's beautiful. Game Implicit, is A Hat in Time a game about Dr. B? I feel like it is. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't want to run out of time, so here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready to answer the questions? All right. I hope we get some good ones in here. There's some funny ones.
I'll switch hats for every question. Just go with the purple one right now, the Apollonia.
Right, this is a question, actually, that I drew when GamerDoc was on last time, so we can see what you have to say. Mario or Luigi?
Luigi.
Why?
He gets ignored. He's got some valuable talents he brings to the game, but he gets ignored. I like to root for the underdog.
I'm starting to think that this is actually like a projective test, and every guest I have on here is going to say Luigi. Because I'm also very much in Team Luigi, and so is
Okay, cool. All right. Next question.
That's really funny.
All right.
Luigi's the number 1, number 2 character. Every little brother has been a Luigi. I was a little sister. I was
But
definitely the Luigi.
I was the oldest.
Ah, well, something about the underdog, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you like to listen to?
What I like to listen to, in terms of music,
Yes.
I just about everything actually. I take music pretty seriously. And it part of it's an offshoot of my autism. I have a lot of sensory idiosyncrasies, and one of them is music.
Mm.
Um, it's funny. We ASMR has become such a big thing in the last couple years, but a lot of the folks I talk to don't actually know what it is.
What is it?
And
Tell us.
well, you get there's an autonomic nervous system reaction that occurs supposedly at various sounds.
Mm.
And I get that. I actually have a full body reaction. It's almost a form of synesthesia, um,
Mm.
where to certain sounds, like um, I certain chord progressions will give me full body goosebumps and make my whole body tingle. It's I don't want to say it's pleasant, but it's evocative,
Mm.
because sometimes it's not pleasant. There's a lot of music that will reduce me to tears. There are a couple of songs that every time will reduce me to tears
Mm.
without fail. So I listen to a lot of different things. For the last year, there's a couple of versions of Clair de Lune that I've really
Ah,
enjoyed. I
beautiful.
like Beethoven's Sixth Symphony is my favorite one. I've been listening to a lot of last couple of years. I've been listening to a lot of Common Market, which is was an indie hip hop group in Seattle.
Mm.
Loves Me My Pearl Jam. Let's see here. Brother Ali's been heavy on my rotation list as well, as has I Don't Know How But They Found Us, or I Don't Know How But They Found Me. Um, they Might Be Giants is a favorite. Beatles are
Classic.
my absolute favorite.
Can't go wrong with the Beatles.
No,
Which is like
absolutely
the
love
only
the
people I recognize on your list. That's not true. I know who Pearl Jam
Beatles. Not Pearl Jam?
is. I know Pearl Jam. I know Pearl Jam. Ah, as a grunge kid from
I was gonna say,
Athens.
I hope you know Pearl
Yeah,
Jam.
oh, I do. I do for sure. Yeah, you do listen to a little bit of everything. I have been in the car with Dr. B, and I can say his lists are sporadic. It does kind of go from classical to hip
Oh, and I
hop
love
to
the blues. Oh, I love the
yeah.
blues. James Booker, bet maybe the greatest blues piano player of all time.
That's awesome. I feel like we've all learned a little something new about you, and that hat was perfect for that question.
All right, hold on.
Delightfully eclectic. I agree, V. I agree. Okay, next. Oh, next question. We're gonna have a hat for each question. You don't have 10 there. You only have 5.
No, but I got 4. I can wear them twice.
Okay, this is a good one because I do not know the answer to this one. Thanks for the follow, Ben. What is your favorite TV show of all time? You can only pick
Simpsons.
one. What is it?
Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Yep, The Simpsons.
I didn't think you were gonna pick a comedy.
No, it's the first 12 seasons are pretty amazing
Yeah, no, The
in
Simpsons
terms
are
of
great.
their writing quality.
Yeah, no, The Simpsons are great. See, didn't expect that. Em didn't expect that either. A surprise answer from Dr. B.
Okay, well, actually, so fun fact. Actually, I went to the same college as Matt Groening,
Ooh,
and
that is a fun fact.
so if there's a lot of Easter eggs hidden in the names of the Simpsons. One of them being that the Simpsons live on Evergreen Terrace, which is the college I went to, Evergreen.
Oh, that's fun.
And a lot of the characters are named after streets in Portland.
Oh. Was your college in Portland?
No, my college
Oh.
was in Olympia, Washington,
Oh,
but
okay.
Matt Groening's from Portland. Like the
There's
VA
my
in
shorts.
Portland is up on Terwilliger Way. There is, if you go, there's a shopping district on 23rd Avenue in Northwest Portland. There's Quimby Avenue, Flanders, Lovejoy,
Oh,
Kearney,
funny. Oh, funny.
Millhouse.
What did I expect, Dr. Coward? I expected a dramatic HBO series. Wow. That kind of.
No, I don't
hurt a
watch
little bit
dramas.
right
I tend to not watch dramas.
there. Yeah.
The
Life
world
is
is
dramatic
depressing
enough. Yeah, life is dramatic enough. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do like dramas too.
I mean, God, there's the world. The world does not need my help to, punch people in the feels.
Westworld. But here's okay. Good point. Game Plus had brought up Westworld, so I'm a big fan of Westworld and the new season. I know it's old now, but I got kids, so I'm behind. But I started watching the new season. Big fan of the show. Big fan of Aaron Paul. I watched one episode and I was like, this is a downer. I'm not watching it. And I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
Now I'm watching documentaries on video games on Netflix.
No, I watch
It's so
stupid
good.
stuff that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Jessica and I had Zoolander queued up for the gajillionth
Oh.
time last night.
Tommy Boy's also a good feel-good movie that I watch when I'm feeling down.
Oh, Tommy Boy.
So you mentioned, this is a good question because you mentioned that you're not playing, that you're playing more kind of casual type games these days. So what is the best video game you've played in the last year?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, Animal Crossing.
It's easy. That's easy.
I mean,
Animal
God,
Crossing's
Animal
been wonderful.
Crossing. Oh my God.
Yeah. And you have hats in Animal
Like-
Crossing.
There's so many hats. People kept giving me hat.
Does cringe humor, do you like cringe humor, Dr. B?
It depends. If you're talking about like the American Office or even like the British Office, I have a hard time with that kind of cringe humor. But if you're talking about dad jokes that just make you cringe, I love them.
If they're puns,
Love them.
you watch Clinical Role. If they're puns, he's all over it.
So
Animal
many cringy puns are the best.
They are. They make me laugh.
But humor that just makes people uncomfortable and nervous laughter, no.
Yeah, me either.
No. I there's enough in this world to feel uncomfortable about. Why would I want to pursue that?
Even before 2020, there was enough. We
Yeah.
didn't even need that before. Animal Crossing, PAX Online is happening, and one of the panels I'm doing is called "Did Animal Crossing Save Our Souls?" And I think
I'm looking forward to that one.
I think it did save our souls. It's good. It's with a couple other researchers. That's a good one. Okay. Okay. What is your Hogwarts house?
I actually, you know what? I'm really curious because I got to put on a different hat for this. It's my sorting hat. I'm curious what the audience guesses because everybody seems to guess very differently.
Audience? I mean, I think I have what I would put you in, but I think that you are not that. Like,
You've also seen me wearing ties.
I know.
I'm really curious what the audience would think about this one.
Have any guesses? Thanks for the follow, Fragment Shader. Cool name.
Ooh, Katie Chuck with
Katie
Hufflepuff.
with a Hufflepuff.
Okay. Any other guesses?
Any other? Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
2 for Hufflepuff.
No. Oh.
Slytherin. No, V.
No.
She doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it. You're right.
No, she knows better than that.
Although Gamer Doc was a Slytherin. I'm proud of it. I can see it though.
Huh. No, she knows very
Slytherin.
much better than that. I am definitely not a Slytherin.
What
no,
house
it's
are you?
Gryffindor.
Yeah, you are. Although I would also, that was my point. I was going to say, I feel like you should be Hufflepuff, but I know you're Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Because one, I'm a bit of a show off. And two, there's a lot of Hufflepuff undercurrents in my soul, but the truth is that, you know, Rachel, you've seen me angry when it comes to something being unjust or not right.
Yeah, that's very Gryffindor.
Yeah, there's a lot of what I do is because of righteous indignation. The world is broken.
That's the quote
and
of the stream. That's the quote of the stream. I'm gonna clip that.
I mean, it's true.
It is true.
I see a lot of injustice in the world, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna help out where I can.
You are a big softie at heart, though, which is where the Hufflepuff comes from.
Yep.
Oh,
Big softie.
This is my favorite question in the whole thing.
Okay, I can do the hat.
You need a special hat. This is the best question in the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my charcoal two-tone.
Okay, you're having a dinner party. You can have any 3 dinner guests who are currently alive. Who do you invite?
Well, I mean, Jessica McCabe. She has to be there. It's no fun without her.
Because she's the whole
But 3 people who are currently alive. You know what? Obama. Because God, he's brilliant. He's
Good
witty.
choice.
He's chill. And I just got questions like, how do you do it, man? How do you put up with all of the vitriol that's thrown your way? And it so much of it is undeserved. It's one thing to have legitimate political criticisms, of which, yeah, you can have many about him, but a lot of the vitriol that he receives is completely undeserved. And does it really anxiety? Oh my God, I got to read that. How he endures the often racist vitriol is, I just want to pick his brain about that, because I am a big softie. I don't think I could handle that. Third person that's alive that I would want to have dinner with. God, let's see here. So many of, honestly, and this is going to sound like a bit of an explanabrag, but a lot of the people I admire I've had dinner with. And I'm trying to think, who would I want currently alive? Shoot.
You got Jessica. You got Obama.
I got Jessica. I got Obama. And, God, who else would I want to have in there? Part of me wants to say George Lucas, just to be like, dude, what are you doing? But no, that's
a good choice.
No, I'm trying. God, who else would I want for the third choice for dinner? Because I take dinners very seriously. You got to have a good mixture of people here.
Oh yeah, conversation going.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh, a Canadian. Fine choice. So.
I just think that would be the funniest.
That would be
most
a great dinner.
Between. Well, I think listening to him talk, he's got a lot of fantastic insights about things that he hides behind humor, I think. And I would, that between Obama, Jessica, and Ryan Reynolds, that would be an insightful and hilarious dinner.
Listen, Em and I are going to take the table next to that and just be like... Yeah. That is a great combo. That is a great combo. Yeah,
Okay.
So you'd be on the fly. Don't worry, Em. We don't have to be a fly. I'm gonna get the skinny on the reservations, and we're gonna be next to him. What if any kind of what if any? I didn't know you were gonna switch hats. Kind of jelly do you put on your peanut butter sandwich? Do you eat? Peanut butter?
I like anything freshly made.
Ooh, yeah. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like anything freshly made, and thankfully, growing up in Seattle, we have just about every berry you can come up with. And I think I have, somebody gave me a blueberry rosemary jelly that we have in our fridge right now, and I'm looking forward to using it.
I feel like that should be made into some kind of cake.
So to what?
Delicious. Some kind of cake. Blueberry rosemary.
Well, I do make a raspberry sorbet that's just out of this world.
Oh, you should make it with that blueberry rosemary.
I love taking herbaceous flavors and mixing them with flavors, because you got to get a more complex flavor profile on what you do. And this sorbet I make out of raspberries and rosemary, it gives that initial tartness and sweetness of that raspberry, but it sort of goes into the herbal rosemary flavor, which is my favorite herb to use.
It sounds wonderful. And Em, I'm putting in my order. I want jam for Christmas. You make jam. I want jam for Christmas. Plus one stream for that dinner. What is your favorite kind of takeout? What is your favorite takeout cuisine?
Favorite kind of takeout. So, food is another special interest of mine, if people haven't picked up on this yet. Seattle has a very unique style of teriyaki. And it used to be kind of our street food, that in the county in which I live, King County, the teriyaki, we had like 200 teriyaki joints. And Seattle style teriyaki is very much its own beast and so delicious. And I love getting Seattle teriyaki.
Yes. The first time I came to Seattle, that's not true. The second time I came to Seattle. First time, we didn't know each other yet. You took me for Seattle teriyaki, and I can attest to its deliciousness. It's very, very
That's
good.
actually my favorite place to go. And thankfully, it's like 3 blocks from where we live.
It was really so good. Is the cake a lie?
Do you want it to be?
Of course I don't. I never want cake to be a lie. I want cake to be in my
I
bed.
mean, if here's what I think. If the cake is a lie, I will make a cake.
Okay, very good. We'll get some jam from
If
Ed.
if if the cake is a lie, I will make the cake a reality, and let's make a cake.
Let's do it. Who was it who made a portal cake on stream? It was one of the Take This ambassadors. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh, that sounds like
Was it?
Random Tuesday. That sounds like something
Yeah,
they would
maybe.
do.
And it was awesome. It looked just like the cake. All right, last question. Last question. Then we can take questions from the audience. Oh, this is a good one to end on. What's the best concert you've ever been to, Dr. B?
Oh, and this is the appropriate hat for it.
Oh, good.
Squirrel Nut Zippers at the Triple Door in Seattle
Ooh.
in 2008.
Wow.
The Squirrel Nut Zippers, especially their old lineup, which is what I see, their original lineup, that was just the most amazingly cool concert ever. And the Triple Door in Seattle is this old school drinks and booths kind of venue, and there's not a bad seat in the house.
Nice.
I mean, if you go to see that's not a place where you're going to go see like Stadium Rock. The Foo Fighters aren't going to play there, but you know, a jazz combo, or like I want to see Richard Cheese play there, because that was maybe like the second or third best concert I've ever been to. Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine. But Squirrel Nut Zippers in 2008, God, there was just not a bad seat, and they rocked that joint.
Nice. It sounds wonderful and smoky. I don't know. In my mind,
No
it was
smoke.
like,
We don't smoke indoors here.
well,
But it had that
ambiance was
vibe.
smoky. Right. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, and
thank you for the
one of their
follow-ups.
former lead singers, Catherine Whalen, when she in just this slinky outfit, and and Jimbo Mathis, their other lead singer. Oh my God, the two of them together. This was post their divorce. They were still amazing together.
Nice. Oh, concerts. A before time activity. One of them. 200 teriyaki joints. So lucky we have one Japanese restaurant in this city.
Well, Geekoscopy, so that actually has to do with the history of Seattle style teriyaki. It's not entirely Japanese anymore, and it had to do with the immigration patterns in the late 70s, early 80s of the South Korean and Chinese families who came to Seattle, that a lot of them traditional Japanese teriyaki is often just a little bit bland. And so the families that came over and opened these teriyaki joints, they put their own spin on the spices. And so you get like star anise and some really complex, almost bulgogi-like flavors in the teriyaki sauce. And so the different restaurants actually have a different flavor to them, and you got to go and find the one you like the best. But the format is always the same. 2 chicken thighs, charred, chopped, 2 scoops of rice, and a salad. To go cheap, an obscene amount of food for cheap. And you find the one that's your favorite and you stick with it because it's delicious.
I was going to say, it didn't taste particularly Japanese to me.
No, it's teriyaki in many respects in name only.
Yeah. And then if you go to Dr. B's favorite one, you like walk around the corner and there's this almond scone place, which is like at least 900 calories, but it doesn't matter because it is
that's Bakery Nouveau.
Heaven.
Yeah, Bakery oh God. Oh my God, yeah, the twice baked almond croissant that's just oh God, it's worth somebody else's left arm.
And regretted nothing. Wait, what?
V, next time you're here, well,
tell us about give us a breakdown of this wonderful piece of heaven on earth.
The twice baked almond croissant. So
Yes.
there is a now chain of bakeries in Seattle called Bakery Nouveau, and the owner has won the World Chocolatierian Championship in Paris. And this croissant that they do, they cook it and make it a regular croissant, and then they cut it in half, fill it with sweet almond paste and powdered sugar and almond slivers, and then they bake it again.
Oh my God.
It is so good. So good.
It is so good. I really want one now. I might have to settle for Peshwari naan. That might be as close as I can get to it here. But, man, that sounds good. Seattle has bomb teriyaki. After moving, it took a long time to find a joint that has somewhat similar to the Seattle style.
What's up, Beham?
Hello.
Oh, man, I love Bellingham.
Yeah?
Oh, Bellingham. Oh, next time you're out here, we got to take a road trip up to Bellingham.
I've been there. That's where the really cool board game cafe is.
No, that's Bellevue.
Oh, my bad. You're right.
Bellingham's up on the Canadian border.
Oh. Well,
College town, real great place. Ryan Stiles from Whose Line Is It Anyway has a comedy cafe there.
Oh, cool. I guess that makes sense why the Seattle style snuck up that way, because I'm on the other side of the Canadian border. There's no Seattle style teriyaki where I live. I can tell. Well, thank you, Dr. B, for coming to chat with us. Our hour is up. I feel like it flew by. I think we learned a lot of things about, food. I like it when our conversations turn to food, but also mental health and games and the power of enthusiasm and volunteering. And before we go, I just want to give you the opportunity to say a little bit about PAX Online is happening, and Take This is going to have an online AFK room, and I think it's worth mentioning before we go.
Yeah, so anybody who's interested in checking that out, make sure to follow Take This Org on Twitter or find us on Facebook at Take This Org. A little bit of a theme going on there, but go and check out the fundraiser that we are doing right now for our online AFK room, our AFK Online. The AFK rooms are shockingly expensive to run, to do it properly, and we got to get funding if we want to do it, and we want to bring our particular brand of mental wellness and support and resources to everybody who's going to be attending PAX Online, and we're going to keep it open 24 hours a day for 9 days, and we're doing it with some help of awesome other mental health organizations, Stack Up here in the US, Games for Change, or excuse me, Change in Our World, Safe in Our World. God, oh, sorry, Leo. Safe in Our World in the UK, as well as Gaming the Mind in the UK, Checkpoint in Australia. We've got some great partner organizations who are helping us put this together. But yeah, go make sure to follow us at Take This Org.
Yes. And referring to the questions, PAX Online is free. The content streamed 24 hours. I know Dr. B has some panels. I have some panels. There's obviously always a lot of good content when it comes to PAX Online. I'm actually only doing one. What?
Yes.
I'm doing more than you. That doesn't
one, and I'm really excited. That's a personal low.
Oh, yeah. I meant how, where, and such. Do you know offhand the dates of PAX Online? It starts next week, Friday or Saturday.
The 12th, Friday. A week from today.
A week from today. And then they have 3 channels on Twitch, PAX 2, and PAX 3, I believe. If you just Google PAX Online, it has the whole schedule and all the information. It should be a really good time. I don't know how that happened. I know. How is it a week from now? Time flies.
It's ridiculous.
Time.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I wish we were all together in Seattle, but alas, next time when it's safe for everyone to go, we will be there.
I can't wait to see people in person again. I have been building up such a collection of in-person Dungeons and Dragons stuff I want to use.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I also really want to see your face, like, close to my face, but I really want that croissant. So, I mean, I want both.
I know where I stand in the world.
You're above the croissant, but you're above the croissant. I promise. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. I will be back next week, probably talking about PAX Online because PAX Online will be going on. Thank you, Dr. B, for coming to
Thanks,
talk
everybody.
with us today. Until next time, be excellent. Be excellent to everyone. Be excellent to each other. Always cite your sources. Bye, guys.